Hey everyone, how you doing? Matt here from Lit Path Coaching. So I had a really fun conversation with a mentor of mine, and I was telling him about a goal, and I had to share this, and it ties in with so many of the things that I've been studying and learning and implementing with my clients. So he asked me, he said, "Well, Matt, if your goal is to, I'll just make one up here, if your goal is to get a house, then what are you going to have to give up?" And I'm like, "What do you mean? What do I have to give up? I have to get more." And he said, "That's what you think. But have you ever noticed sometimes when you're going for something, actually you have to give up something else?" So that made me think, we have this slogan like when you're going for something, never give up, never give up. Well, actually, you know what? That's true. We got to be persistent. And there's a secret to persistence. I'll share some other time. But actually, we should focus a little bit on what we do need to give up. And I'm going to tell you why. So, give up to get your goals. So, here's the thing. Let's use an example. I want to lose 10 pounds. Okay, sure. So, what am I going to have to give up? Well, I'm going to have to give up eating chocolate and drinking wine after 8 p.m. Great. That's a great example, right? Things you have to give up. But here's the thing. It's not just the things that you give up, because your behavior, the things that you do in the external environment, and we're always trained to find the answer in the external environment, right? I'll lose weight if I go work out. I'll lose weight if I stop eating chocolate and drinking wine after 8 p.m. Well, that's true. Those probably will benefit you in that way. But actually, those behaviors, so let's just go like this. You got this behavior that you want to try and give up. And that's sort of like an action that you've been taking, right? So what's behind the behavior? Well, linked to that behavior, you'll see a whole bunch of feelings. So what do I mean by feelings? Well, I can't speak for you, but I can speak, say, for me when it comes to chocolate and wine after 8 p.m., although I don't drink wine. But chocolate, yes, and peanut butter. Sometimes I'll find myself in front of the dark chocolate and the peanut butter, and I'm eating it. But as I'm eating it, I'm having certain feelings. Now, the behavior is doing a couple things. The behavior is actually kind of satisfying some feelings, right? Like, oh, that feels good. Oh, I feel calm. I feel kind of like a calmness come over my body. Also, I love the way it feels. So it gives me pleasure, and I love that pleasure. Chocolate and peanut butter. Who can mess with that? But also, there are some feelings that happen before the behavior. And I could say, well, those feelings are actually maybe causing the behavior. Now, I know we think often, well, no, I feel certain ways because things happen. I think it's important to start to think about things happen because I feel a certain way. So one way to discover the feelings that you're going to have to give up is a magical, magical thing. And you have it because every human being in the whole world has it. And that is observation. Now, this sounds a little nutty, or maybe it doesn't. Maybe you're well versed with this. But imagine this. There I am eating the dark chocolate and peanut butter, and I'm like, oh, this feels so good. Oh, yeah. Well, I am fully involved in that feeling. And we'll get to the next part in a sec, but I'm fully involved in that feeling. I am those feelings. Now, that's the feelings that the behavior is kind of satisfying or giving me. It might be I went to go do that behavior in looking for those satisfying feelings. But there were other feelings that were kind of causing the behavior in the first place. And maybe those were like, I don't feel great. I feel tired. I'm upset. My kids came and interrupted my workflow because I'm working at home. One day I'll show you this studio. It's quite funny. You are on a massage table right now. So maybe they came home early and I got frustrated, and then I felt like my workflow was screwed, and then I started getting grumpy, and then I'm angry and I'm blaming my kids for a reason why I feel crappy. And then I go eat some chocolate and peanut butter. I'm like, oh yeah. My energy comes back. Well, all those feelings that I had that instigated that behavior, I'm going to have to give those up. And the only way that I can discover what those feelings are is to be genuine and loving in my curiosity about myself. So this is what I want you to start to do. I want you to start to think about the goals that you have. And maybe it's not to lose weight, because I'm using one that lose 10 pounds, get rid of a couple of things that you have to do. Maybe your goal is, I want to get a pay raise. I want to double my income, or I want a 10% pay raise. You can still ask yourself, what am I going to have to give up to get that pay raise? And then you could ask yourself, well, what's preventing me from getting the pay raise now? And you'll come up with some answers. You might say, I haven't had any lucky chances. I haven't had my big break. My boss doesn't notice me. She ignores me at meetings. Well, you're going to have to start to give up some thoughts you have around your boss. Because as long as you believe that you're not noticed, that it's your boss's fault, you're not going to get into a position where you're getting noticed and you're taking responsibility for your action. So that brings me to the next thing. Whenever you have, and we're going to keep on going with the chocolate peanut butter one. So feelings, whenever you have a group of feelings, invariably, inevitably, you are going to have, I'm talking away from you, so I hope you can hear me. You're going to have, yeah, you can see it there. Hopefully, sorry, there's a light glare there. You're going to have some thoughts. Now, those thoughts you might not hear. You might be having thoughts and you don't even know you're having them. Have you ever had this experience? You're driving along, you're driving to work, okay? And there you are driving to work, and you start thinking of somebody at work. And it's maybe someone you don't like so much, right? You start getting these bad feelings. And then all of a sudden, you've gone the last 10 kilometers or miles, if you're in the States, you've gone the last 10 kilometers or miles, and you haven't even noticed the road. You're so far into this vision of having this confrontation with this person at work that you're not even present for the present moment. You're in some future moment, using your imagination for worry, right? And so there you are, and you have all these feelings. And I can guarantee you, when you're in that kind of state, what's your feeling? Well, you have the actual physical feelings, like your chest is a little tight, you're breathing tighter, your shoulders are going up, you're starting to clench your teeth, you're starting to glare, your pupils are dilating. You know what? Adrenaline's going into your body, all the oxygen and blood's pushing to your limbs to get ready for the fight or flight, even though you're just driving your car, maybe even listening to some easy jazz or something on the way to work. But this is how powerful the mind is. Now you're having a whole bunch of thoughts. But here's the thing. You're not really observing the thoughts. You're believing the thoughts entirely believing them as if they're true and as if they're real. And you're feeling those feelings as if they're true and as if they're real. And you're wholesale jumping on board. And when you have those thoughts and feelings together like that, you are in a state of being. And guess what happens? You attract to you more of that. You see it in your environment. It starts to orient what I call your hermeneutical apparatus, how you are perceiving and what kinds of things you're choosing to pick out. Tony Robbins calls it the reactivating articulate system, I think. I can't remember the name of it. RAS is the acronym. But basically, when you're focused on one thing, you start to see it everywhere. Same kind of thing. So let's go to me and the peanut butter and the chocolate. So there I am, feeling emotionally drained, physically tired. I'm feeling a little anxious and tight, and I put a spoon of peanut butter in my mouth. I'm like, But the behavior before that, the emotions before, there's a whole bunch of thoughts there, a whole bunch of thoughts. Now, more often than not, our emotions are informing our thoughts. But in reality, it's our thoughts that are originating those emotions powerfully, because our thoughts are setting up our brain chemistry. Our brain chemistry is setting out the hormones and getting the body ready for the experience that our brain is saying is happening. So after a while, this becomes programmed. And actually, scientific studies show that basically 95% of people over 35, so if you're over 35 years old, 95% of your behavior is automated. That means it's running on a program. That's staggering. And yes, just to preempt it, you do have the opportunity to change your program. Millions and billions of people, maybe not billions, but millions of people have done it. And certainly that's what I help my clients with. So here we go. There I am. What thoughts am I having? I'm thinking my kids interrupted my day. I don't have any pleasure. This isn't fun. Why can't I have fun? What's wrong with me? Why haven't I organized my life better? What's going on with me? Now, these thoughts are happening like a flash. I have a theory. My son and I came up with this theory. We were thinking about, wouldn't it be wonderful to visit like another nebula, another place in the cosmos? And I said, well, when we look at the science of it, the speed of light, it's like 1 billion light years away, say. I can't remember exactly, but let's say it's 1 billion light years away. And then I thought, Jude, my son, what travels faster than light? And he's like, I don't know. And I'm like, I just thought of it. He said, what? I said, thought. Because in our thought, we can be there. And I know you were thinking, well, Matt, we're not physically there. It's not real that we're there. But our thought can travel places, even though our circumstances, our environment around us show us that we're not there. So coming back to here, there are thoughts that you're having. And those thoughts are tied together with the feeling. And when you pause for a moment and you no longer believe that you are your thoughts and you no longer believe that you are your feelings, the only way you can do that is by observation. And by observation, I mean real observation, open-hearted, loving observation, not the kind of observation you have when you're hypercritical and judgmental. So give you an example. I'm a stupid piece of shit, pardon my language, sorry if you have kids in the background. I'm a stupid piece of crap, for eating this peanut butter and binging on chocolate after 8 p.m. What am I thinking? I'm never going to succeed, right? That's judgment and criticism. I'm going to say that if you have a behavior you're trying to change, you have judgment and criticism, right? So when I say give up, if you want to hit your goals, you got to give up. You don't only have to give up your chocolate and your wine after 8 p.m., you have to find out what the feelings are. The feelings that you're getting from the behavior, for sure. You don't have to give them up, but you have to give them up. You have to give up satisfying them in that manner. I want to feel relief and joy right now. So how am I going to do that without the behavior? I'm going to have to give up satisfying my emotional needs using that behavior. Now, here's the other thing. Feelings. What about the feelings that originate the behavior? I don't feel great about myself. I feel crappy about myself. I feel like life's unfair. I feel like there's no joy left. I feel like there's no pleasure to be had in this day. This day's done with pleasure. The only way I'm going to get pleasure is to eat chocolate and peanut butter. Okay? So you're going to have to give up those feelings. You're going to have to give up the feeling that there's no pleasure left in the world, that you're not worth it, that you can't set boundaries, or those are more thoughts, but feelings of unhappiness, unworthiness, frustration, anger. What thoughts are tied to those feelings? Well, the way that you get there is by observing while you're partaking in the behavior you want to change. That's when you have the opportunity, a golden opportunity to say, I know I can't stop my programming right now. I'm just going to take genuine curiosity, open-hearted, loving curiosity, and I'm going to take a look at what thoughts I'm having while I'm engaged in this behavior. Now, some of you won't be able to do that, right? The impulse to that behavior, if you're smoking, if you're drinking, binge drinking, for some people it's pornography and masturbation, and I'm not saying these are your goals, but some people, it's a behavior that seems to be overwhelming. There's a thought. I can't stop myself. You're going to have to give up that thought. I'm addicted. You're going to have to give up that thought. It's not my fault. My parents screwed me up when I was a kid. You're going to have to give up that thought. So when I say to achieve your goals, even though it might seem like a simple thing, let's put it this way. If you've had this goal before and you haven't achieved it, it might be time to look at what you need to give up. This is your year, all right? So every year is your year. Every day is your day. But this is your year. And if you have a goal, I want you to really feel into this truth. That goal is there for a good reason. It's your soul giving you a shake. And if that goal is challenging and scares you, even better. Even better, because that goal is there to shake you to grow, because you have more in you to give. You have more in you to feel. You have more in you to love and experience and enjoy in life. So believe in that. Believe in that. Here's the other thing. All those feelings you have and those thoughts that you have that are related to the behavior that you think is terrible, I want you to change your attitude about that. I want you to give up hating on yourself. I want you to give up criticizing yourself and give up judging yourself. And ask yourself this. Somehow, somewhere in my programming, I came up with the notion that that was the thing to do. My subconscious is trying to provide me with something, protect me from something, or prevent something from happening. Now, it might be true, it might be real, it might not be. It doesn't matter. The idea is that the intention was for your safety, for your well-being, and maybe it just got out of track, or misaligned. And either way, now you're looking to grow and it doesn't fit in anymore. That doesn't mean you have to hate on yourself and beat yourself up for it. Know that it's there for love, and love yourself all the more for it. Be convinced that through this method, by really genuinely understanding and observing your feelings and thoughts, because when you observe your feelings and thoughts, you identify yourself as the observer. Now you're no longer the feeler and the thinker. You're the observer observing feelings and thoughts. And then you're observing how they're fulfilling certain needs in your life and how they're powerfully filling those needs in your life, satisfying different needs, giving you behaviors, and you know through your behavior that's giving you a poor result that it's not serving you. So be thankful for that behavior. I'm so happy now that I realize eating peanut butter and chocolate after 8 p.m. and drinking wine is actually affecting me in a negative way. Because through understanding the behavior is affecting me in a negative way, I want to change it. The pain is too great. I don't want this pain in my life anymore, although I'm not giving up peanut butter or dark chocolate because the pain's not that great yet. But the pain is too great. I need to change this. Great. You're right. You do need to change it. Honor that impulse in you. Now take some time. Honor yourself. Honor the fullness of your being. Open your heart to yourself and ask yourself, what are the feelings that are along that behavior? Because I'm going to have to give those up. I'm going to have to give up some of those feelings. Now, a lot of us identify ourselves through our feelings. We don't see our feelings as something that we use. We don't see our feelings as something that, as Tony Robbins would say, that we do. We see our feelings as who we are. We identify ourselves through our feelings. We might say, I'm an angry person. I'm a lazy person. I'm a go-getter. I'm an ambitious person. I'm a loud person. I'm a happy person. We identify ourselves that way. So in a way, you're going to have to hit your goals. You're going to have to give up some of the ways that you see yourself. Now, these are ways, I want to be clear here. These are the ways that you see yourself that aren't loving. Those are the ones you want to give up because you deserve it. You really do. I mean that with all my heart. You really deserve to give up the feelings that you have that aren't serving you, that aren't allowing you to live in a fulfilled way, to share who you really are, the ones that judge you and prevent you from acting and behaving in ways that bring fullness and love and light to the world. So have some gratitude for that behavior because it's going to illuminate the feelings that you're having that aren't fulfilling you, that aren't serving you or your loved ones or anyone in your life anymore. And then have gratitude for those feelings and the thoughts that go along with them. Let the feelings know, show me with the thoughts. What thoughts do I have? What thoughts are driving me to this? What thoughts do I need to understand about myself? Because those are the thoughts you want to give up. How do I know you want to give them up? Because you have a goal. You have a goal, and that goal is meritorious. That goal is your spirit speaking to you, your soul waking you up and shaking you up and saying, let's go. That's what's going on. So here you are with your New Year's resolutions. Here you are with your goals. And I'm encouraging you to give up. I think that's fun. And thanks so much for tuning in. Hey, if you have questions, look, I'm going to just be clear here too. I've had a lot of help in my life. Like I have a coach right now, and I recently got my Reiki master initiation certification through my own my old Reiki master or my previous Reiki master. I just reconnected with her, and when I started my coaching journey, I was like, oh my God, for me, I want to finish my Reiki training. And so we just did that, and she led me through some meditations that took me to a whole new state of being. And I didn't have that. I didn't know that. I didn't experience it. It wasn't something I would have thought of doing. I went outside myself. I sought something out, and I asked for help. So one thought that I eliminated in me quite a long time ago is that it's not okay to ask for help. That people that are strong do it themselves. That it's just about being strong-willed, and it's about putting the nose to the grindstone and getting the elbow grease, right? That more effort. And I'm not saying that effort's not important. It is important, but effort coming from the right place is more important. And sometimes you're just not in the right place, and you need that sounding board. You need alternate perspectives. You need to study, because 95% of the way you're thinking right now is in the pattern behavior that you're trying to liberate yourself from. So grab a book, go to a seminar, talk to someone you don't know, grab a coach, for crying out loud, go take a course, because when you start to learn, you interrupt those patterns of thought. You interrupt them right away. So I encourage you, give up some of the limiting ideas, give up the feelings that aren't serving you, that aren't allowing you to bring out your behavior or to bring out your fullness. Give up the behavior too, but that's going to come naturally when you start to give up the feelings and the thoughts. And again, I'm here to help. I'd love to meet you. I'd love to connect. So I'll stick a link somewhere below, above, wherever it is on social media. And I'm wishing you a fantastic 2021. Oh, look at that whiteboard. I love that.